Now at 10, GPS oops, the device we all rely on leading one family down the wrong road. Tonight, the warning you need to know. Plus, honoring a brother in blue, a fallen Texas police cadet buried in eastern Idaho. The family overwhelmed by the support from the Gem State. And winter wallop, much of the country under attack by Old Man Winter. Tonight, what's in store for your morning commute? Local News 8 at 10 starts right now.
You're watching Local News 8 at 10. Local people, local news.
Good evening this Sunday, and thanks for being with us. I'm Chris Oswald. Tonight, a former Pocatello man is sentenced to jail after failing to register as a sex offender. That man, you see him here, Corey Blackmoon Bischoff, was arrested in Vancouver, Washington in January. That was for not updating his registry status since 2013 when he last registered as a sex offender. He was sentenced to 33 months in prison after pleading guilty in September. Bischoff was convicted of rape in Madison County in 1997. Looking ahead to tomorrow, 23-year-old Philip Frankie will be back in court for a plea change hearing. Frankie was arrested in April and charged with several counts of enticing a child through the internet. Frankie has already been sentenced in Caribou County on similar charges. A New Dell woman is thanking the community tonight after her husband, a Texas police cadet, died from a medical condition during training. 31-year-old Christopher Murray was married in the Rexburg Temple in 2008. He dreamed of being a police officer. Murray died during training. He was laid to rest in New Dell this weekend. The Madison County Sheriff's Office, among other law enforcement, helped with the funeral escort of Murray yesterday. These are pictures posted on the Sheriff's Office Facebook page. Aldo Vasquez talked to Murray's wife, who remembers the man that he was.
A loving father, husband, and brother. These photos only paint a small picture of the devotion Christopher Murray had to his family and people.
Ever since I've known him, he's just had this ability to help people.
That devotion to help was recognized this year for helping a young boy save his mom's life when he was a 911 dispatcher.
He loved to serve others.
His dream of becoming a police officer cut short just 2 days before he was set to graduate from the Denton Police Academy in Texas.
He was doing the physical test.
While training on November 16th, something went wrong.
They have a physical test it's about a 10-minute test that's very, very strenuous. From what I understand, what they told me, he collapsed.
And on Thursday, surrounded by family, Murray passed away after spending more than 2 weeks at Denton Regional Medical Center.
Well, he was my best friend. I'm gonna miss holding his hand and just the little things.
Murray's wife is from New Dell. She has since moved back with their 2-year-old and their unborn child. The couple was married in the Rexburg Temple. News from around the region now. We're starting in Twin Falls. That is where a tow truck company owner was shot at when someone attempting to steal a truck fired shots at him. It happened when Charles Legg noticed the gate to his yard was cut and someone was barreled towards him in one of his vehicles. When Legg called police, it took them 30 minutes to arrive.
There was some miscommunication initially as it was sort of shift change. We had some dispatchers changing shifts as well as officers.
Legg was not hurt. However, he was arrested. He was wanted on a misdemeanor trespassing charge. Whoever fired the shot at Legg has not been caught. Going to Boise now, fire crews continue to investigate at a fatal apartment complex fire. The fire started on the 3rd floor of the building Saturday. 1 person was killed. A firefighter was hurt. 3 other people, including a child, had to be treated. Those who live at the complex are being assisted by the American Red Cross. Let's talk weather now. Chris Nessman, it's cold. It's only going to get colder, and you're giving us more snow.
I mean, look how great it looked today, Chris. Yeah, I mean, that was the story. It looked great. It certainly didn't feel that great because a lot of us were below freezing today and didn't get much above it. And with those winds, it certainly added to it. And you see right now, Viper radar, we're getting just a few showers. In fact, we zoom in, there was a quick band that slid through the Chubbuck-Pocatello area. That has since slid out. I mean, it was brief 10 minutes max type scenario, but nonetheless, that is our 20% chance. 26 right now in the Gate City. You see wind south 10 miles an hour, and you see the roads not looking too bad. Cars still moving along fairly nicely as the snow was quick. Now tonight, we're going to keep seeing just a few scattered snow flurries. Average low of 19 degrees and still breezy. Now coming up, we've got a decent storm to talk about for the middle of your work week, and then by next weekend, for the Weekend Warriors, we're talking extra cold temperatures. I'll have more on that coming up. Chris?
Thank you, Chris. New tonight, concerns over the evaluations of teachers in the Gem State. An independent report finds 99% of them were done wrong, sometimes illegally. Idaho Education News reports Superintendent of Public Instruction Sherry Ybarra asked a Denver company to look into Idaho's teacher evaluations. The company found school administrators ignored laws and rules for evaluations or did not understand how to do them. 7 reviewers audited 225 evaluations. Only 3 of those were done correctly. Next tonight, members of Congress from both parties are calling for an investigation into whether Russia tried to influence the American elections. The president-elect has his doubts. Meantime, Mr. Trump is standing by Exxon CEO Rex Tillerson, the likely pick for Secretary of State who has firm ties to Russia. ABC's Mary Bruce with the developing story now.
Tonight, Donald Trump is digging in, blasting a Washington Post report that Russia interfered in the U.S. election to help him win.
I think it's ridiculous. I think it's just another excuse. I don't believe it.
And pointing fingers across the aisle.
I think the Democrats are putting it out because they suffered one of the greatest defeats in the history of politics in this country.
A person with direct knowledge tells ABC News there is evidence that both Democrats and Republicans were targeted, but that only information hacked from Democrats was made public. But the RNC says it wasn't breached.
The RNC was not hacked.
Trump still questions if Russia was involved at all, even after 17 U.S. intelligence agencies concluded that the Russian government directed the hacking.
They have no idea if it's Russia or China or somebody. It could be somebody sitting in a bed someplace. I mean, they have no idea.
Tonight, a bipartisan group of lawmakers is calling for an investigation, saying reports of Russian interference should alarm every American. Trump's recent comments are raising serious questions about whether he trusts U.S. intelligence, and Trump admits he's not receiving the classified presidential daily briefings, at least not every day.
I get it when I need it. I don't have to be told, you know, I'm like a smart person. I don't have to be told the same thing and the same words every single day for the next 8 years.
Trump's Secretary of State will inherit the complex Russian relationship. And tonight there are concerns about Trump's likely pick, ExxonMobil CEO Rex Tillerson, and his deep ties to President Putin.
I've known him since 1999, and I have a very close relationship with him.
But Trump says those ties are a good thing.
To me, a great advantage is he knows many of the players.
No announcement has been made yet, but today Trump tweeted that Tillerson is a world-class player and deal-maker. Stay tuned. Trump is also trying to dampen concerns about conflicts of interest. He plans to leave his great business in total, but his children will not.
My executives will run it with my children. It's a big company, it's a great company, but I'm going to have nothing to do with management.
Mary Bruce reporting. Meantime, some top Silicon Valley leaders will meet with President-elect Trump this week. Sources say the meeting in New York will include executives from Apple, Facebook, Microsoft, and Intel. Much of the tech industry slammed Trump during his campaign, saying he would stifle innovation. Going forward, though, the industry could clash with him over immigration and net neutrality. It was a gathering of all faiths for a lesson on community service this weekend. People from all different religions and backgrounds traveled together to Salt Lake City. The goal of the trip was to learn more about how to best serve the community. Local News 8's Misty England explains.
11 different faiths and religions filled this bus to prepare for a trip to Salt Lake. Faith leaders from the community were invited to go by the LDS Church, who sponsored the trip. It was part of the Pocatello Interfaith program. Though the LDS Church sponsored it, the trip wasn't about one religion. It was about community and service.
We want to do things that bring us together, and another thing, the interfaith is interested in the humanitarian aspect of this, and for the opportunity to go down and see how the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints runs their humanitarian center in Welfare Square. It's an amazing thing that they do, and any faith can learn from what they've been doing for years.
Once in Salt Lake, guests toured the LDS Humanitarian Center, where they had lunch with refugees. They also saw Welfare Square and the Bishop's Storehouse. Next up was Temple Square and the LDS Tabernacle, where they were able to see the world-renowned Mormon Tabernacle Choir perform. Those who went on the trip say it was a great experience, and there was a lot they'll take away from it.
I thought it was awesome. I really enjoyed the trip. I enjoyed having to spend time with my different sisters and brothers that went on the trip with us.
Whenever walls are crumbled down and we can have a chance where we can actually interact with each other, shoulder to shoulder, everyone wins.
I think a community, we may have disagreements, but I think coming together as a community will make a difference. I think a community should be knitted together like fine fabric.
In Pocatello, I'm Misty Inglet.
Mayor Brian Bladd from Pocatello and Idaho State Representative Kelly Packer also joined the group in Salt Lake for the tour. Christmas displays are up around the state. They bring holiday cheer and a rising electric bill. Still ahead, tips to not break your bank. Plus a warning tonight for GPS users. The heavily relied on device could be misleading. But first, Standing with Standing Rock. Locals gather in downtown Idaho Falls in a show of support. But first, here's a look at your highs and lows. We'll be right back.
Local people, local news. You're watching Local News 8 at 10.
Now at 10, support for the Standing Rock Sioux Tribe from right here in Idaho Falls. Today, a small group gathered on the Broadway Bridge in Idaho Falls, standing in solidarity with signs, flags, and their voices. These people showed support for the tribe against the Dakota Access Pipeline. Despite the Army Corps of Engineers halting the project a week ago, these supporters of the Standing Rock Sioux Tribe are not backing down.
It's important to keep the land safe for our children and our children's children and the future generations. And we don't want it to affect this.
As far as the future of the Dakota Access Pipeline, last week the Army Corps of Engineers said they would deny the easement for the pipeline. Energy Transfer Partners, the Dallas company behind it, is vowing to complete the project. The company has taken aim at the Obama administration after the Army Corps released their decision, saying it intended to delay a decision in this matter until President Obama is out of office. The White House said it has not had anything to do with the outcome relating to the pipeline. President-elect Donald Trump does support it. He is expected to review the project after his inauguration in January. Across the country, winter weather alerts in 17 states, including Idaho. Chris Nessman behind me monitoring the situation here. The latest from him in a moment. But first, Alex Perez with the story of more than 175 million people dealing with freezing temperatures.
Tonight, this Delta flight caught in that winter blast.
And Delta 724, we just went into the grass.
The plane taking off in snowy Buffalo and skidding off the taxiway after landing in Detroit. The visibility reduced and snow still coming down. Passengers all safe, but forced to evacuate out of the plane's rear hatch. Hundreds of flights canceled or delayed, nearly 1,500 flights in Chicago alone, as the Windy City gets a winter wallop.
We are touring the Windy City, which is currently the snowy city.
Well, I've never seen it like this in December.
Roads from Minnesota to New York, treacherous. In Minneapolis, this car bursting into flames after crashing on slick roads, firefighters racing to put out the inferno. And outside of Flint, Michigan, that massive 33-car pileup closing a section of I-75 for hours until the debris could be cleared.
We got hit from each direction, pushing us one way, then around to the other way. We were spun around facing the opposite direction.
Tonight, authorities begging drivers to stay off the roads.
We want the public to ask themselves a simple question: is this trip really necessary?
This is the second winter wallop for millions in just days. Lake effect snow battering the Great Lakes region, dumping more than 3 feet of snow in parts of western New York this weekend, and more is on the way right now.
It's hard to imagine just something so beautiful as the snow can be so dangerous.
It happens every winter. I'm just thinking, I'm like, do you think the national weather packages will ever mention Idaho?
No, because this is normal. Ever. No.
Yeah, they won't. I don't think so. Unless we get obliterated or something. Let's take a look at what today was like. It was a gorgeous day today. Very, very nice. Lots of sunshine. So while it looked nice, it didn't feel as nice because it was cold, it was windy. But this was Henry's Lake, so still snow on the side of the roadway, but the skies looked gorgeous. The one place that wasn't so clear, Teton Valley, Idaho, certainly saw some cameras the afternoon. Now, Viper radar, for the most part clear. We did have a very weak disturbance sliding through the Chubbuck-Pocatello area. That was a brief 15-20 minute snow shower. It has already moved off, and they are in the clear. But everyone else, well, we're going to stay in the clear short term, meaning these temperatures tonight are going to drop pretty quickly because, as you guys know, when it clears out, the temperatures drop very, very fast. And you can see Jackson, the snow's going to stick around. A lot of folks braving the cold, enjoying it because it is very Christmas-like. Now, you look bigger picture, we've got some cold air in the Pacific that will be coming in, mixing a bit with this storm as well as with this subtropical moisture moving up from Hawaii. For us, that means decent snow totals come middle of the week for the higher elevations and actually rain for the lower elevations. Now, as we go through Monday, we don't see a whole lot tomorrow. In fact, tomorrow I'm going to go with just slight chances here and there. Eastern high country is your best bet. But once we start going into Wednesday, that's where that subtropical moisture comes up. And again, we are going to see some rain in the valleys and snow in the middle higher elevations. And even places like Pocatello will get some snow, at least for part of that storm. Tonight's lows, tomorrow's highs, again, on the cool side. How about 11 for a low in Arco? Teens, 20s for the Central Mountains, with decent shot at snow tomorrow. You start going to the Snake River Plain, not quite as high. In fact, that 50% is more for the Island Park, Eastern High Country region, but still, I think everyone's going to see a little bit of something. In the Southeast Highlands, again, you guys are probably going to see some snow tomorrow, highs in the 20s. So just a quick summary of what we're going to be seeing. Waking up to partly cloudy skies. By midday, that's when best bet at seeing some of those snow showers. And late afternoon, mostly cloudy skies. And you see temperatures don't change a whole lot. And again, a lot of overcast type conditions happening. Idaho Falls extended forecast. It will be breezy tomorrow, and then we have a break on Tuesday. Wednesday evening into Thursday, we have that storm, and then notice the temperature drop come next weekend. Teens with overnight lows in the single digits, and that is the same for Idaho Falls. That is the same for Pocatello, with, again, very cold weather early Sunday morning. How about 3 for a low? And Jackson, in particular, gets very cold, close to 10 below for your Sunday morning. Chris?
Thank you, Chris. It is something we all use, probably multiple times a day. Tonight, though, there is a warning about the heavily relied on GPS. A family on a road trip with their little girl and dog ended up stranded in the Oregon snow after a GPS miscue. The story new tonight from ABC's Gloria Riviera.
This snow-packed road stopping one family in their tracks.
The next thing we know, we just started sliding and we got stuck.
The Sandquists, mom, dad, their 9-year-old daughter, and the family dog, all on the way to California from their home in Oregon. Their GPS mapping the shortest route, Just one problem. It took them up this unplowed mountain road. Snow socking them in. No shovel, no cell phone service.
I'm not even sure if I had a shovel, what I could have dug out.
The family hunkered down until morning, when Ron hiked 2 miles to find help, the family finally reaching 911. Search and rescue getting them back on track and issuing this warning for all drivers. Many GPS and map systems can steer folks in the wrong direction during winter travel where conditions are poor.
It was pretty scary, especially because to the left was a downgrade, quite a steep one.
This is not the first case of a GPS mishap. This driver followed her GPS straight into Canada's frigid Ontario Bay. She made a quick escape, but her car was a goner.
Sometimes technology just doesn't know what it's doing. Gloria Riera reporting. The Sandquist family did have enough food and gas to last the night. What could have been a 7-hour trip ended up taking them more than 24 hours. It is the season for decorations, and those Christmas displays can be costly. Coming up, how to decorate and not break your bank. Plus, stressed over the holidays, we'll tell you how to handle the headache.
Get First Alert weather anytime, on demand. Log on to localnews8.com.
In your Money Watch this Sunday night, it is the most wonderful time of year. Homes are covered in Christmas lights. The tree is shining brightly. But with all those lights could come an increase in your electric bill. I'm kind of the Grinch tonight. New tonight, Jess Knight has some Christmas efficiency tips from Twin Falls.
Drive down any street in town and you'll see houses decorated with Christmas lights. There are a few things you can do, though, to avoid a big increase on your power bill.
What we recommend as far as outdoor lighting to make sure that power bill stays in reason, the new LED outdoor lighting is really pretty popular now. LED lighting will use about 1/5 of the energy as the older strings of lights do.
Twin Falls homeowner Mike Felton has noticed a difference in his power bill since switching to LED lights 3 years ago.
Instead of having a spike in our power rates go up by $50 to $60 with the LED lights, the power goes up about $10 to $15 a month. We run them probably 16 hours a day, and we have 10 strings of lights around our house.
For additional savings, Idaho Power suggests using a timer for your lights.
If you use a timer, you can save about 50% on your electric outdoor lighting bill. You could have the timer come on at, say, 6 in the evening, go off at 11 in the evening.
If you haven't already put your Christmas lights up, Idaho Power suggests doing it on a day that's not so slick. You want to be careful on your ladder.
I have 3 different ladders I use depending on how high the roof is where I'm working. Plus I have to actually get up on the roof for a couple of the strings. I know you need to be careful. I used to be a firefighter, and we'd have 2 or 3 calls a year where people have done crazy stuff on ladders and fallen off.
But for Mike, this time of year is about more than just Christmas lights.
I think it's more about family, giving Grandma a call, having the kids home from college.
In Twin Falls, Jess Knight, Local 11 News.
Dan also says that the LED lights aren't as hot, so they burn cool, but they still burn bright. He says they last for 20,000 hours. Well, there are just 14 days until Christmas, and piling on holiday projects and parties on top of everything else, it can be overwhelming. A certified life coach says rushing from place to place with a long to-do list defeats what the holidays are all about. Her advice: create space for yourself, even if it means only starting with just a few minutes.
Even setting a timer for 4 minutes and just closing your eyes, taking some slow, deep breaths, do nothing.
Something else to think about is, do you have time to add another party or do more shopping? Ask yourself this: do you have the energy? The life coach says it's about time, not energy. It's about time. It's not about time, excuse me. It's about energy. Well, they couldn't pull it off in the first 40 minutes. See how long it took the Idaho State's women's basketball team to finish the game. Maybe Julia Cox can read better next on Sportsline.
Yeah, I need to go to sleep. That's what needs to happen.
Everybody wants you to show your shoes, Julia.
You're watching Sportsline with Julia Cox.
After getting a win on the road against Wisconsin, a team in one of the Power 5 conferences, the Idaho State women's basketball team looked to keep the momentum rolling this afternoon. ISU hosting Denver in Reed Gym to the second quarter. Idaho State trails by 5. Freddie Newton gets the board, does the pump fake, swings it over to Grace Kenyon, and she knocks down the tray ball. Bengals trail by 2. A little bit later, same score, Isabel Vera-DeRay gets it to Solaire Grandin, and she gets it into the paint to Kenyon. Kenyon lets traffic pass and hits the pull-up jumper. Game is tied at 13. Bengals led 31-19 at the half. To the third, Bengals lead by 10, and it's Kenyon breaking ankles and hitting the long jumper for 2. The girl came to play. Bengals lead by 12. To the fourth, Denver really starts chipping away as Haley Semitol hits the long 3, cutting ISU's lead to just 1 point. Later, Denver trails by 3 now. They get it to Samantha Romanowski, and she knocks down the tray ball here, tying the game at 50. So we're going into overtime. Free basketball, about 15 seconds left in overtime. Bengals trail by 2. Denver needs a bucket, and they get it from Jacqueline Poss here. So we're getting more free hoops. In the second overtime, clock is winding down. ISU is down by 2. Newton feeds it to Bianca Thacker, and she hits the 3 with 0.5 seconds left on the clock. Denver is unable to make anything happen with that time left, and the Bengals win in dramatic fashion, 65-64.
I was just super happy that it went in. I thought it was like going straight over the ring, to be honest. She was running out hard, so I just shot it higher, and it went in.
Oh, I knew it was going in. She's such a great shooter, and I could see she was further off the line too. And she always says that she shoots better when she's further off the line. 'Cause she's from Australia and they play with the FIBA line, and so I knew it was going in.
Those 3 points were actually Thacker's only points of the game. Head coach Seton Sobolewski said that he brought her in because she is such a good shooter. Having a stellar game was Kenyon. She had a double-double, racking up 20 points and 14 boards. ISU had 49 total rebounds, 15 offensive and 34 defensive. Denver had 39 total. Coach Sobolewski credits the Bengals' defense as part of their big win.
I think this game kind of illustrates why we emphasize defense and rebounding. If we hadn't defended as well as we did, if we hadn't rebounded as well as we did, we wouldn't have won this game.
Now, the last time ISU went into double overtime during a game was back in 2005 when they lost 91-89 against Boise. ISU's next game is on December 16th against Montana Tech and Reed Gym. Now to the NFL. The Packers hosting Seattle. Aaron Rodgers, me too, man. Me too. Tired. Yawning. Let's jump to the third quarter now. It is 21-3 Green Bay. Russell Wilson drops back, fires. The ball is deflected and picked off in the end zone by Quentin Rollins. That was Wilson's 4th pick of the game. Yikes. You know what? The Packers are going to turn that into points. Rodgers moves around in the pocket, buys time, finds Jordy Nelson in the end zone for the 3-yard touchdown. It's 28-3 Green Bay. Later in the 4th, it's 31-3 Packers. Wilson drops back, fires, and finds Tanner McEvoy in for the 21-yard touchdown. Seahawks trail by 21, and later in the 4th, same score. Green Bay on the reverse. Jeff Janis takes it 19 yards into the end zone. Green Bay runs away with this one, winning 38-10. That's going to do it for sports. We'll be right back.
This weather is the perfect weather to be curled up in bed.
There's a lot of weather that's good to be curled up in bed. I'll tell you, that's one of the hardest things in life is getting up in the mornings, taking a look at the extended forecast. Week system moving through tomorrow will be breezy, break Tuesday, and then Wednesday evening into Thursday we could see some decent totals. However, those will be rain mixed with snow over the valleys.
14
and then
on Sunday.
cold. come the weekend.
Burr. All right. Thanks, Chris. Dan and Allison back at 5 a.m. We'll see you later. Have a good night.